Well, Henry, 6 hours in heaven? I haven't spent 6 seconds in heaven. Unfair. No. Sorry, Lord. Tell me about it. How did it happen?
Well, the first half hour was dead on my way to the Milky Way. I call that 1/2 hour approximately. They said I was dead a minimum of 1/2 hour with no vital signs because they gave up trying to do CPR. That was on Father's Day, June 21st, 1984. I think it was Father's Day. And then October 22nd, he seems to love to visit me in October. October 22nd, 1988, he says, get out of bed, get on your knees. I got out of bed. I'm sorry, no, that's it, the experience I just told you. My wife is singing a new song that God gave her to our intercessors, elderly people that have been interceding for me while I'm walking and praying in Europe. And as she's singing the new song, I'm worshiping the Lord. First, I had heard the song since I come home because she wasn't with me walking. And all of a sudden, it was like somebody turned spotlights on in my face, and I knew in that home there were no spotlights. I opened my eyes and saw the golden cloud coming through the ceiling. Instantly, I hit the floor with my knees. The instant my knees touched the floor, I was on the street of gold. I was taking a step, and I looked up and realized I'm on the street of gold. I looked down. The gold is a cherry hue of color, transparent. It's so pure. And I pulled my foot back and realized my right foot was on solid gold. I thought I'd just disappear through it because it looked transparent. And so I started walking. And that's when I began to experience the atmosphere of heaven.
What's the atmosphere of heaven like?
The first thing I noticed was the fragrance of flowers. I've always loved flowers. I look at the flowers on each side of the street of gold, and I just thought, you're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. And the instant I said, you're so beautiful, the leaves on the stems were clapping. Their faces turned toward this golden glow that was coming. And they were singing the most beautiful song. All praise, glory, honor, and thanksgiving to the Father for creating us and making us worthy to serve the redeemed. Every living thing I found in that journey in heaven that God had created, it lives to serve the redeemed. And when the redeemed notice it and give thanks or utilize like the fruit of the tree, the whole tree goes into a spasm of clapping, and that song comes out of the trees, out of the flowers, out of the grass as you step on it and step off of it. And all of that song from creation goes back to the throne in prismatic light like rainbows. The words turn into light and go back to the throne. Why? God is light and the author of light. So everything comes from light. It goes back to Him as light when it's praised. The other thing I noticed as I got behind a person, they went to the tree that had many different kinds of fruit, went to pick that fruit, but didn't pick it. Just put his hand under it, and the tree let go of the fruit into his hand. You don't need to pick fruit in heaven. The creation knows it's to serve you. And the instant that fruit was in his hand, the trees went into that clapping, rejoicing that it was made worthy to serve the redeemed. I watched the person come back to the street of gold with the grass singing, because every blade of grass that's been stepped on is singing, so it's building into a beautiful chrysanthemum of singing. And just going to the throne. He's eating all he wants. I'm following him. He gets as much as he wants. He just drops the rest. And I thought, no, don't litter on the street of gold. Before it hit the street of gold, it had vaporized, disappeared. You can pick flowers every day in heaven and put them in your beautiful white marble walls. They never fade. They look as fresh as the day you picked them. You get tired, you want different ones, you go pick new ones, you pull those out, drop them. Before they hit the floor, they disappear. There's no garbage collectors, no compost piles in heaven. Nothing wastes in heaven. Hallelujah.
I have to tell you, I find this life very exciting, but very challenging, all in the same time.
Very much.
Having seen what you've seen in heaven, how do you stay here?
Oh, my poor wife. For several days after that, It was October, so in Oregon, all the leaves were beautiful colors. It was the full color of autumn, and and my wife loved, that's her favorite time. Spring is mine, autumn is her. And I keep saying, honey, there's no color. Everything is gray. There's no color here. And one day as we're going up the street there of Lombard in Portland, she says, honey, please stop. It's the most beautiful autumn I think I've ever seen. You're ruining it for me. I haven't been to heaven. In heaven, there have got to be 88 more spectrums of 8 colors in heaven than there are on earth. When I went through the Milky Way and passed all of those planets 4 years before into the Milky Way, I made the statement, every single planet is a distinctively different color. Every planet has a distinctively different song or sound. In Job, God asked Job, where were you when the morning stars sang together? He didn't know. He'd never heard them. I've heard them. The number one specialist of the Milky Way, that man asked me where I got my doctorate in astronomy. He said, you answered questions for me that I have had for 16 years. I'm the world's leading specialist on the Milky Way. And you're up there tonight talking about the Milky Way like it's all common knowledge. You made revelation after revelation to me. You answered question after question. Where did you learn this? What periodical did you read? I held up the Bible. He says, is that the Bible? Is that all? I said, all. Come on, brother. That's everything. The God of this word is the God of the universe.